Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Saturday morning.
Security changes already being made at CMPD headquarters less than 48 hours after officers were ambushed by a murder suspect. The new policies in place to prevent another attack. And much colder temperatures across the area this morning. We're tracking how long the cold sticks with us and when we could see some flurries. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm Elsa Gillis.
And I'm meteorologist Vicki Graff.
Vicki, it is a little bit chillier than this time yesterday. It felt like Florida in the middle of winter.
It really felt like spring. We were in the 60s yesterday. Not the case for today. We had a cold front move through. That brought us some rain and even some stronger winds that caused some power outages across the area. That rain is now off the coast, and then just some lingering moisture now just east of our area. We're left with some low clouds, but even with the clouds, you can already feel that difference. We're 38 in Charlotte right now, 37 in Statesville, and 20s in the mountains. It feels even colder, though, when you factor in that wind. And compared to this time yesterday, we're anywhere from 20 to about 35 degrees colder. So that's how powerful that cold front was. As we go throughout the day today, we're really not going to warm up a whole lot. So we will see a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures will climb into the upper 40s. That's actually not too bad for this time of year. Our average high is 50 degrees, but I'm tracking even colder air heading this way. I'll show you when that arrives coming up. Elsa?
CMPD says it is doing more to make its headquarters in uptown Charlotte safer. This comes after police say a homicide suspect ambushed officers. Police say Jonathan Bennett, who was wanted in a murder, started firing shots right in the parking lot Thursday night. One officer was hit but is expected to be okay. Officers returned fire, killing Bennett. It was a scene that hit close to home for Channel 9. Our crews were right in the heart of it. Eyewitness News reporter Deshawn Brown heard the shots and helped bring continuing coverage from the scene. She spoke with Bennett's grandmother, who said she learned about his death along with the rest of us on the news.
The suspect's grandmother told me she was physically sick by what she saw. But that shooting has also prompted major security changes here moving forward.
We have an officer down, officer down.
The sound of chaos still resonates around CMPD headquarters. Jonathan Bennett's grandmother told me off camera she couldn't believe it as she watched all of this play out on live TV. Within minutes Thursday, police said Bennett shot at officers in a surprise attack at police headquarters. Then 4 of them shot back, killing him.
We know multiple rounds were fired at officers, and then our officers returned fire.
Just hours before, police said Bennett killed 24-year-old Brittany White in West Charlotte. White was his child's mother.
It's just unacceptable. We hurt for the loss of a mom and a daughter and a sister.
The surprise attack prompting swift changes at police headquarters. A source sent us this email outlining a few of those changes. One says any entrance to the main lobby will now be locked at all times. The email also told officers the department is trying to protect its most important asset, you.
And I think it highlights how vulnerable our officers are and how dangerous this is.
With those changes we just mentioned, the public still has access to this building 24 hours a day, but now you will have to be cleared by an officer first. Reporting outside of CMPD headquarters, Deshawn Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We also looked at what other leading law enforcement agencies have in place, including a secured garage area in Union County, where the sheriff's office brings anyone who's been arrested. Channel 9 was given access to that secure area where officers are fully shielded from the public.
This is an important layer of security.
Sure it is.
Tell us the CMPD parking lot where the shooting happened is not likely to see extensive changes. Meanwhile, police say the officer who was shot is recovering well. She is Casey Shue, who's been on the force for 3 years. The president of North Carolina's Fraternal Order of Police told us it's a reminder for officers to stay alert.
You can't let your guard down ever, because let me tell you something. If somebody wants to ambush or take out an officer, there's plenty of times during the day they can do it.
Randy Hagler says the FOP has hired attorneys to represent the 2 officers who fired back and killed the suspect. Before the ambush, police say Bennett shot and killed Brittany White at a home in West Charlotte. Their 2-month-old baby and another child were there at the time. Eyewitness News anchor Erica Bryan spoke to an expert not affiliated with this specific case about the lasting impact this type of crime can have on children.
As neighbors struggle to process the horrific murder of a mother and death of a father, the future of a baby and another young child hang in the balance.
She was in there hollering, "Mama, mama, mama, what you do to my mama?"
Sarah Green with Mecklenburg County Public Health says this type of trauma can impact even an infant for life.
Their brain chemistry and their wiring can actually be impacted in a way that they are biologically changed.
Green works with Child Development Community Policing, a team of licensed clinicians who respond with police officers to crime scenes 24/7 when the worst happens. When a child loses a primary caregiver, she says the symptoms can be alarming.
You can see just horrible screaming and inconsolable crying. They may not either take food, and they may vomit, and very often will have severe diarrhea.
But kids can be resilient if they are placed in familiar and stable environments with therapists helping their loved ones to cope.
That's one of the really important things, is who is going to be the caregiver, and let's try to keep it as familiar and consistent as possible.
Erica Bryant, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Green says police refer more than 600 families for trauma therapy services every month. It's voluntary and free for those that want the help. Channel 9 was the first to bring you continuing coverage of the attack on officers, and you can count on us to continue bringing every update. We'll post any new developments on WSOCTV.com. 7:06 now. The unsolved murder of a woman in Plaza Midwood was featured in a national report last night. Crime Watch Daily on our sister station Waxon interviewed the mother of Katie Jones. Katie was shot and killed off of Central Ave in October 2016 as she walked home from a club.
It's just devastating. When you can't keep them safe, there's nothing you can do. It's done. Your chance to keep them protected and loved and safe is over. You failed.
Crime Watch Daily also interviewed a detective who said CMPD hopes this surveillance video will help bring new leads in the case. Police believe it may have captured the suspect's vehicle. They are asking anyone with information to come forward. Happening today, the 32nd annual Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Parade will stroll through uptown Charlotte. There will be more than 100 marching bands, step teams, and other organizations. The parade will travel along Tryon Street from 9th to Stonewall Street. It begins this morning at 10. Today's parade will cause some travel delays with road closures in uptown. Traffic Team 9's Mark Taylor has your alternate routes.
And that parade begins at 10 o'clock this morning. We're expecting about 40,000 people to attend, so a lot of pedestrian traffic as well as the closure. Now that route, parade route, is going to be on North Tryon. It starts at 9th Street. It's going to head south down towards Stonewall, so that's a stretch you'll want to avoid. Now you can use Church Street and College Street as alternate routes, and even parts of Graham to Stonewall. But remember, Stonewall is blocked, part of the Tryon Place utility relocation that's going on through the July 28th. Typically, you would take South Tryon over towards MLK. But again, South Tryon, that's part of the route. So consider taking South Tryon over to Moorhead to get around that closure.
7:08 now. A White House doctor says President Trump is in excellent health following his first medical checkup at Walter Reed Military Hospital yesterday. The physical comes weeks after the controversial book Fire and Fury questioned the president's mental health. The president attempted to defend himself yesterday after using an expletive to say we shouldn't be accepting immigrants from blank countries. He tweeted that his comments at the DACA meeting were, quote, tough, but this was not the language used. But several lawmakers called his bluff, saying he did in fact make racial comments.
He said, Haitians, do we need more Haitians? And then he went on when we started to describe the immigration from Africa. That's when he used these vile and vulgar comments.
Republican South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham challenged the president on the spot. Graham said America is an idea that's not defined by its people. Today, friends and family will gather for a balloon release to honor Mesikoy Cote 1 year after he was killed. The father of 4 was shot and killed during an armed robbery inside his own grocery mart on North Tryon Street last January. Until now, his wife Esther has been unable to speak about the life they shared and the day it all fell apart.
I'm missing a lot. I'm missing every day. Hoping for him to come through the door and come home. Now he had only one life, and they took that life away.
She closed the store they owned, saying the memories were too painful. Desmond Black and Shalom Scott were charged in Cote's murder. Over the next 3 months, officials will do a controlled burn to reduce the wildfire risk at a South Charlotte nature preserve. Mecklenburg County Park officials and the North Carolina Forest Service will focus on the McDowell Nature Preserve. The controlled burn will remove built-up fuels in order to protect nearby homes during a wildfire. The burn is expected to be done by April. The Panthers officially have a new offensive coordinator. Norv Turner was hired yesterday. He's coached 32 seasons in the NFL, most recently as offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Head coach Ron Rivera says he is excited about Turner's knowledge and says he'll be invaluable to the team. Rivera hopes Turner will help take quarterback Cam Newton to, quote, another level. 7:10 now. You're taking a live look outside right now from our Speedway cam on this Saturday morning. Meteorologist Vicki Graff has an update on your forecast from Severe Weather Center 9.
Good Saturday morning. You can see from that shot there, we are still stuck under some clouds, and that's all thanks to this front that was moving through. It brought us some heavy rain, strong winds yesterday. It's clearing out for now, but we are left with the low clouds, maybe even a few snow flurries in the mountains. It won't really add up to a whole lot, though. Throughout the day today on our threat tracker, you don't have to worry about rain, just a few flurries in the mountains, and that wind is picking up. In fact, we could see wind gusts up to about 20-25 miles per hour. You will feel that colder air settling in, though. In fact, highs for today only in the 40s. Now, I am tracking our next system on the way, and this might bring a few snow flurries through Charlotte. I'll show you when that arrives coming up. Elsa?
This dangerous flu season could lead to changes in schools in South Carolina. At 7:45, the dilemma parents are running into and the effort underway to fix it. A shocking scene in Valentine after police say 2 people were shot near a children's daycare center. At 7:30, the evidence crime scene investigators say they found as they combed through the area. A final farewell to a Mecklenburg County paramedic. Next, the way her co-worker said their last goodbye.